prints that we see outside, are they for sale or?
No, that's just for artwork.
Oh,
and all
just
that.
for artwork. Okay.
And I just started recording, so let's do this. Okay. All right, so hello everyone. So we're talking about con safety and etiquette. All right, so we're live here in the Cherry Street Pier for Philly Otaku Fest. I want to thank Becky and Tom and the con itself for accepting and for giving me this opportunity to do this panel. So the reason why we did this was between the three friends. I mean, for three people, including myself. It started in Anime Next, and one of our friends was wrongly accused of a wrongdoing, and that had an effect. So we decided, okay, let's do con safety and etiquette. So at least people know what to do when it comes to respecting people's space, when it comes to conduct, when it comes to etiquette, which is the basis of that. So what we're going to talk about is the disclaimer. The disclaimer here is that the material provided here is for educational and informational purposes only. This does not replace any professional advice. However, safety protocols can vary from one event or venue to another. So, since each of the guidelines will be different from one venue or event to another, please refer to the guidelines and policies before planning to attend. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what to do before attending, the convention safety, so we'll talk about accessibility, wayfinding, boundaries. So we're talking about personal boundaries, alright, because everyone has limits. We're going to talk about the buddy system. We're going to talk about your physical and your mental health, and we're going to talk about props and weapons. Another part is etiquette and bullying, and if you have any experience to share, if we have time, of course. So before attending the cons, it's very important that you research the con, its venue, and its location. And also go just hear what the feedback from other people who've been there before. So is it safe enough? So if for those dealing with accessibility issues, is it wheelchair accessible? Is it that kind of thing? Does it meet ADA standards, for example? Which goes to the next part. So what are your limits? So when it comes to stamina, it can come to stamina, mobility, health conditions, etc. So a bigger con can be more stressful. Maybe a smaller con, like where we are at the Cherry Street Pier for Philly Otaku Fest, it's a more manageable con. It's a smaller con. And if you have any special needs and accommodations, it's very important for you before you do any of the activities that if you do need special needs or accommodations, such as myself, I have autism, so I always do my best to get to the special needs or accommodations department where they handle accessibility, and get a badge for it or get a ribbon for it, and also get their contact information, God forbid something happens. So, but before you attend cons, you also must have your emergency contact information in case something happens. So it could be your parents, it could be your best friends, relatives, etc. Someone who you're very close with. Also have very important documents with you. So obviously you gotta have your badges, you gotta have your tickets, your itineraries, so you know where to go when you're trying to get to and from the con. So the reservations or bookings when it comes to hotels and other things. And also bring in your insurance cards, health insurance cards, and other identification. That includes government photo IDs. Very important. All right, and just leave the next one. Keep family members and close friends updated. All right, I actually had to keep two of my cousins updated. I'm letting you know that I'm actually out of town for this. Also, if you're going to cons, also find out who else will be attending. Is those people or that person going to be with you, or that the person's going to be there, but they're traveling separate, of course. Also, prepare your essentials, which should make sense. It should be very obvious. Okay, your medication, snacks, water bottle, wallet, which includes your photo ID, your cards. Always carry a little bit of cash, okay? Your phone, I have 3 portable chargers, 1 fully charged heavy-duty one should be enough. I have reusable bags just in case, luggage, etc. So if you if you want to be a if you want to enroll in the Smart Traveler enrollment program, you can go to state.gov/step. Okay, so what does safety mean to you at cons? All right, safety means, I'm able to enjoy myself without getting hurt, without being judged. At least that's what I think. You don't have to worry about being harmed, physically, mentally, and whatnot. Being healthy and being able to function, and you're not being sick, all right? And if you're sick, why are you here? Your peace of mind. Hello. Don't worry, it's being streamed.
What?
So this is the Con Safety and Etiquette panel.
Oh, are we on live?
Yes, it's live, but it's only looking at me.
Oh.
But you can attend. It's fine. You can attend. It's okay.
We can look at the art.
Yeah, you can look at the art. Yeah. So, being healthy and being able to function, peace of mind, being able to have fun and hang out without going through issues, without being judged, without being attacked, and also having your space being respected. So no worrying, no stress, no anxiety. That's what it means to me too for safety at cons. Being able to move around the con and venue with no issues. All right, without any setbacks or issues. And setting healthy boundaries so you don't get taken advantage of. So accessibility and wayfinding is very important. So particularly for those who have mobility issues or who are limited in terms of mobility. So do you need accommodations due to disability? So are you in a wheelchair? Do you use a rollator? Do you use any not mobile device, but any mobility devices? Hello. I'm doing a panel right now, so live. And please make sure know where the accommodation services or disability services or accessibility services are, or to reach out to con staff if you have any questions. Make sure you have the map of the con. That is very important, so you can plan where you're going.
Huh?
Oh, it's live.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay.
Oh, so you're still holding it live. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can still come in. It's okay. So make sure you have maps of the con. I apologize because this is live. This is in person, and we're also doing it live on Twitch. All right. Please make sure you know where the services are and reach out to con staff. So make sure you have the maps of the con. And as I said, it's very important. So you know where to plan. It's always important to get the maps ahead of time and plan. Have a plan. Have a plan of action prior to enjoying the con. So note important locations of the con. So your bathrooms, the place where you can drink water, safe places or quiet places where you're able to de-stress and recharge your social batteries, recharge your health batteries, whatnot. Info centers. So some places will have their information kiosks. So if you need help on which place to go to or whatnot, or if there's any issues going on, they're a resource. Go there. Okay, know where the stairs and elevators are, entrance and exits, just in case something happens. Lost and found. So last year at Anime Boston, I lost my fedora hat when I was Muzan, and unfortunately, Lost and Found didn't have it. But I actually had a friend, another one, who lost her hat. Her hat actually ended up in her mom's car. So thank goodness she didn't lose it. But always know where the Lost and Found is, because somehow they may have found it and just put it in Lost and Found. You never know. And know where security is. So government, if you feel like you're in danger and whatnot, they're there. Hello. I'm doing a live panel right now. It's for Con Safety and Etiquette. So you can join in. It's okay. I'm also streaming. It's live. So just sit, relax. All right. So if you do miss any of this, it is on Twitch. All right. And I will upload on YouTube. So for boundaries, advocate yourself. This is very important. If you can't advocate yourself, who else will? No one will better advocate yourself than you. And protect yourself and stand up for yourself. No one else will do it but you. All right. If someone takes advantage of you, you say no. If there's any kind of inclination, no. Say no. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. You're not obligated to anyone's interest. If you feel uncomfortable, say no. All right. So if you don't want your social media information being exchanged, no. Say no. You don't have to give them their phone number. Nowadays, we don't ask for phone numbers. We ask for, what's your Facebook? What's your Instagram? What's your TikTok? All right. Physical contact. If you don't feel comfortable, say no. If you're taking photos, if you don't feel comfortable for them to take photos of you, you say no. Sharing things. Big one. Okay. What if they put something in the food? Okay, you never know. Say no. And then favors. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. Say no. If you feel someone is harassing you, you have to state and address it to the person who's doing it. And that first part is a warning. So tell them that it's wrong and it needs to stop. And you're going to have to separate from that person and try to keep a good distance. And being with a group of friends. If it persists, take a picture of the person, or you can do it earlier the first time if you want. All right, and report it to staff, ops, or police, and you show the picture of it. If it gets to the point where that this person becomes a danger, you may have to file a police report. But it depends on a case-by-case basis. The buddy system is where friends look out for each other. So at least two people are responsible for each other's safety and well-being. Communication is very important because at least you get to check up on each other. So in order for this to work, you have to know your needs, strengths, weaknesses, and limits of yourself and your buddy. So for example, if reminders are very important. So you ask, did you eat lunch? Did you drink fluids? Did you get enough rest? Did you give yourself breaks between panels? That kind of thing. All right. Know your check each other, such as stress or overload. All right. So people tend to go overboard. You be the one checking on each other. Remind each other to take care of one's needs. So as I said earlier, getting enough rest, drinking a lot of water, eating, very important. There are some people who go through the con without eating, and all they did was drink. And you're gonna get hungry, and you're gonna feel weak. So anyway, if separated, and that can happen, maintain contact and set up a meetup place. Always don't just do it through Instagram or TikTok direct messages or Facebook Messenger. Get their numbers. Okay, God forbid there's an issue with the internet. If separated, if your body becomes a danger, if your buddy becomes a danger to oneself or others, you have to get help ASAP. And it could be contacting the con staff or the con ops or whatnot. Your physical health is very important. If you're not taking care of your physical health, you're not going to have fun. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. You know, you're not going to be able to fulfill your activities of daily living in general. So make sure you get a regular checkup at the doctor's office regularly. Usually healthy people tend to do it every year. All right. For those with comorbidities such as diabetes and whatnot, they tend to do it maybe every few months, maybe every 1 to 3 months in some cases. If you have a first aid kit, great. Very important. So, God forbid if you got a cut or whatnot. Never forget your medications and or medical devices. So, if you're type 1 diabetic, or if you're insulin dependent diabetes, you need insulin. Right? Without your insulin, you'd be screwed. I have asthma. I have to bring my inhaler with me wherever I go. And don't forget your wheelchairs or your canes if you need them, of course. Carry your health insurance information. So usually it's a health insurance card, and primary care doctor's contact info. So I have that in my phone. So if you have any allergies to medications or any allergies to food, for example, that's important health information you should have, whether it's in your phone or something, or maybe in a card. All right. If you have any health accommodations, all right, that should be written there too. Make sure you have that info. And be careful with your health, and you have to think before making decisions. All right. One example is drinking alcohol. So don't go overboard here. All right. If possible, try to avoid it. Okay. When it comes to alcohol or doing drugs, okay, because overdoing it is not good for your health. If you get roofied or harmed by no person or group, you have to file a police report. So last year, in December 2023, a holiday matsuri took place, and it's a con in December, as I said, and it's holiday themed. It's also anime themed, of course. There was something called the game, and this is to roofie cosplayers on the list, which included but not limited to Power Machina from Chainsaw Man, Mona Kaeya from Genshin Impact, Misato from Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, okay, Cruel Freight from Seraph at the End, and a few others. Okay, many were roofied and many went to the ER. One person was unresponsive at the time, and one person spiked a water cooler. When that happened, the con staff had to give out water bottles. So you may be asking yourself, what's the roofie? So for those who haven't heard of what roofieing is, it's someone putting a drink, usually a sedative, in a drink, and that becomes a spiked drink. And that person would do it without the person's knowledge or consent. And one gets roofied or spiked when one passes out, and the perpetrator will take advantage of the victim. And there are many different ways the perpetrator is going to do it. So it could be rape, it could be assault, it could be theft, amusement, get someone in trouble, and so on. With these kinds of medications that cause a person to get roofied, there could be memory loss as well. So the person is not going to remember what happened during the time the perpetrator takes advantage. So just a fun little fact, roofie was derived from the word rohypnol, and rohypnol is the generic name for rohypnol is flunitrazepam. So flunitrazepam is a benzodiazepine, or BZD. So it's in the same umbrella as diazepam or Valium, same thing. Ativan or lorazepam. So those tend to treat anxiety, and in some cases can treat agitation. There is one medication called temazepam, and temazepam is used usually for sleep. So those things are sedatives, and they help depress the central nervous system. Okay, so the common roofie drugs. So the first one is rohypnol. This is banned in the U.S., but there are other countries where it is used. People tend to use it to help them sleep, and it's used just like with similar uses like benzodiazepines. GHB is another one. So this stands for gamma hydroxybutyric acid, or sodium oxybate, and this one also does the same thing. Ketelar ketamine is another one. Alcohol can do it as well, and those are just the common ones. There are other ones where some people would drink something called lean or scissor, and that's promethazine with codeine. All right, and promethazine with codeine is usually a cough syrup, and people get doped out of it when they start drinking it. So you'll see that. And there's also pain medication that they tend to use. They just crush it up and all that stuff. I haven't heard a lot of it, but you never know. Anything can happen. But those are the four that are more common. There are other agents that are used to knock people out, but these are the four that we've seen. More commonly, GHB, rohypnol, and alcohol. Alcohol is a big one. So anyway, To avoid getting roofied, it's very important to be aware of your surroundings. When you get your drink in the bar, just make sure the bartender makes it in front of you and gives it directly to you. In front of you. And when you want to get your drink, you get your own drink and you pour your own drink. Never accept drinks from anyone because you never know if they put anything in it. When in doubt, toss it out. So, one of the tips of analyzing or observing a drink is, does it look funny or weird? If the ice goes all the way down, if you see particles, if you see excess bubbles, is it cloudy? Does the color change? Is the color different from how you usually see it? Does it smell differently? Does it taste differently? Do you smell something suspicious or taste something suspicious? If you're in doubt, if you don't know what was going on, it's better to toss it out. Never leave your drinks unattended or unsupervised. Keep it where you can see it. If you want, you can cover it with your hand. I have a water bottle here, and this is my coffee. Here it is, closed in my bag, right over here. Oops, oh, that's my sword. Okay. I gotta show this. Yep, this is me. So I'm Giyu from Tomioka from Demon Slayer. So I'm cosplaying him, just on the side note. And this is EVA foam. Okay. So always be with friends and never go alone. So if something happens, at least you got witnesses. All right. Not every place is going to have a surveillance camera. And bring your own bottle, like me. And I need my caffeine, actually. Full of water, and close tightly with lid and hide it. So, I already drank the water, so now I have the coffee in there. And the reason why you're going to need a lot of water is because you can use that to dilute. All right, if you do get spiked. If you're able to catch it before you pass out. Also, the other reason for having a full glass of water is that when you're actually conscious after getting roofied, and also, of course, everyone needs to be hydrated adequately, right? BYOB, bring your own. Oh, actually, I said that. Bring your own bottle. Or always bring your own bottle. All right, seal your bottles tightly and hide them, but still closely watch it. So I close them in my bag. So I think I'm pretty good. So the next thing is symptoms. So symptoms and signs of being roofied. So the common ones you're going to see with all the medications, usually coming from those four, include disorientation, sleepiness, sedation, or drowsiness, unconsciousness, memory impairment, feeling paralyzed, loss of focus or concentration, loss of nausea, vomiting, loss of energy, loss of muscle control. So the common one, obviously, oops, it's weird. Okay, there we go. The common ones for getting roofied are you get knocked out and you pass out and you're sleeping, all right, and you're not going to remember what happened. Also, there's going to be symptoms on the day after, so severe drowsiness, you may still have that nausea and vomiting, the muscle aches will still occur, headaches, you have this sensitivity to light, that's photosensitivity. There's confusion, having trouble remembering, so that still persists, and a tingling sensation. If this happens, if you get roofied or you see or know someone who got roofied, get help and call 911 ASAP and seek attention ASAP. Get security ASAP and bring their attention to the person and warn them about a potential criminal. Make sure the security takes this seriously. Make sure the authorities take this seriously. And drink lots of water. If if you're a victim of being roofied, or if someone you know is roofied, make sure to be hydrated, to stay hydrated. Stay with the victim and make sure the victim is safe and has ample surrounding space that's less chaotic. So you want to make sure the victim doesn't get stepped on and all that, and give the victim space. If showing signs of overdose, such as seizures, vomiting, etc., do not lay on their backs. Lay on their side, on their stomach, so they don't choke. And if they want, have them drink water in small sips. Next thing, so we talked about the physical health and we talked about roofing. So we're going to talk about mental health. So one of the reasons why people like myself attend cons, as it is one of the main reasons why people such as myself attend cons, as it helps improve one's mental health. All right, so cosplay helped me with my mental health, helps me reduce stress, and gives me an opportunity to take a break from reality. So another reason could be people attend cons so they can meet people with similar interests or who have similar traits. Or you can go to cons so you can meet with celebrities or other famous cosplayers. The list goes on and on and on. Many attend conventions such as comic cons and anime cons as an escape or a break from the burdens of real life, as I just said. So, anxiety. What is it? It's a body's reaction to perceived danger or important events. So, like the alarms, it alerts us to danger and helps us to prepare to deal with it. So you get this response. So you hear flight or fight or fight or flight. Some people will have the freeze as well. So it's fight, flight, freeze response. So when you get anxious, your thoughts focus on the threat, and then your body prepares to respond to it. So even though it's a good part, it's an important aspect for our body to avoid danger, it could be a problem if it goes off or when there's no real or immediate threat. If it occurs too frequently, if it's too strong, if it's upsetting and causing distress, and more importantly, it becomes a problem when your activities of daily living gets affected. So it could affect your productivity at work. It could affect grades at school, and so on. Oh, there's me on the right over there. So I like this acronym. This is by my one of my mods, one of my Twitch mods, Katnesis. So shout out to her. Oh wait, what is this? It's acting weird. Okay, let's see. All right, so brave. Be brave to fight anxiety and improve your mental health. So breathe slowly, relax every day, very important. Allow ourselves time and space, and room to breathe, of course. Voice our fears, and eat and drink well. That's how we fight anxiety, among other things. Other things include breathing, as we said, writing things down, reflecting. Maybe try to challenge your thinking. If you experience an unhelpful thought, try and turn it into a helpful thought. So change your mindset there. So check in with yourself, monitor your emotions and mood, and learn how to problem solve effectively. When you experience a problem, try and write down a number of solutions. Weapons. So that's a big safety component here. So you have to research your weapon or prop policy prior to attending. So each con and venue will have its own set of rules, and they could change. Just because one con or venue have their set of rules doesn't mean another con few miles away or venue will have the same ones. There could be some overlap, but due to experiences that they have, among other things, or maybe it's other stuff that they learned from other cons, it could still vary. So always do the research. Exercise good judgment, all right, especially when trying to use props. So when it's really sharp and you have some doubts, don't bring it with you. even though it looks cool in your cosplay. No, safety first. Consider materials used. So, for most cons, when they're made out of metal, even if they're not sharp, even if it's just dull, they could be prohibited. And I've seen that in Anime NYC. Live weapons are not recommended. So, for example, my apologies. For example, guns. All right, if you don't cover them, if you don't put some kind of a device where it won't fire any projectiles, don't bring them. Sharp ones like kunais and all that stuff, don't bring them if it's going to be harmful. So when it comes to weapons and props, if you're going to bring them to a con, how are you going to carry or transport them? So in this case, I actually have a sleeve for this. Let me see, I think I put it here somewhere. Actually, you know what? I actually left it in the hotel room. But that's okay because the hotel is right across the street. So I'm okay. As long as I don't unsheath it like I did right now. Alright. So check with transportation carriers, train, bus, plane, etc. So usually the trains and buses tend to be a little easier. Planes, not so much. So in some cases, you may have to put in a checked luggage. If your props are too big, if possible, try to make it collapsible. All right. If not, you may have to get a bigger baggage, but you have to be careful as well because the way people handle luggages nowadays, you could have your props damaged. So please be careful. All right. If it looks dangerous, don't expose it. All right. I don't want you to get into trouble. Cons require weapons and props to be inspected, so go to prop check for inspection as soon as possible. So if it passes, you could get a tag or with tape, zip tie, or wrap. In this case, I have this from one con. I think it's Zenkai Con. I'm not sure. And then I think this is Otakon for Orange. I forgot. So you see these two here. And that will tell you, hey, you know what? It's checked. Some cons, they actually put stickers on attendees' badges. And that's not really a good idea. All right? Because you could just have it checked for one weapon and then use that same badge and you bring a different weapon and that's not been checked. So that's not going to work. You know, that well, to be honest with you, it's not proper enforcement of the weapons and props policy if you just give a sticker and just put in the badge. It should be on the weapons or the props. Okay. If it fails, keep it at coat check, hotel room, or car, and keep it hidden. So as we talked about before, weapons and props need to be disabled and tethered to the costume if possible. Alright, disable your projectile weapons. Use caution with sharp pointy objects. Handle with care when carrying them around. And you have to be aware of your surroundings. Safety first. It's always very important. No explosive pyrotechnics, very obvious. No smoke. No bubbles either. Okay, people will start slipping around, and bubbles could also affect other people's cosplay. Don't be surprised if any item gets confiscated. Okay, I had a pepper spray. I was going to Brooklyn Comic Con. They were doing bag checks and they found that I had a pepper spray, and they confiscated it. But I need pepper spray just for self-defense. I'm not going to use it at a con. I mean, 99% of the time, I don't think I'm going to use it for a con anyway, unless I have to defend myself. But hide them, okay? Or don't bring them at all. All right. Etiquette, very important. We're going to talk about that. Personal hygiene is important. I don't want to smell any odors, okay? It's disgusting. You got to bathe, take a shower, brush your teeth, and use deodorant daily. It's all in my hotel room. It's across the street. Maintain hand hygiene by washing your hands often. And when waiting in line, no cutting, pushing, or shoving. Very obvious things, but it seems as though I feel that people need to be really respectful. Number one, and number two, I think they have to be mindful of other people's space and be respectful of that. All right, do not block passageways or traffic. Please step aside. So if someone's in a rush, stay to the right, pass on the left, and respect everyone as well as people's personal space and boundaries. I cannot emphasize this enough. Be open and inclusive to everyone. That is very important as well. All right, be respectful of everyone. Always ask permission when it comes to pictures, when it comes to exchanging contact info, when it comes to if you want to touch something, if you want to hug or whatnot. Cosplay is never consent. Okay, very important. So if they ask for pictures and you don't feel comfortable, say no. It's as simple as that. Be mindful of people's time as well. So that could be for anything. So it could be for doing a TikTok together. It could be for hanging out. It could be so many things. Also, be mindful of children, particularly in how you cosplay especially with props as well. All right, so if you're gonna cosplay someone where there's barely any covering on it, so you may it's like less clothing or whatnot. Please be mindful of it, and try not to have children see that. That's very important. Okay. Before you attend, always do your homework by going over comp policies and rules, and also be kind and be patient. You gotta treat other people like the way you want to be treated. All right, people don't think about it, but being complimented and being praised go a long way for most people. It's also important to be responsible. So if possible, if anyone needs help, try to help the person out or alert staff. If you're not able to do it, let the staff know so they can handle it. Of course, cover your sneezes and coughs with your elbows, not with your hands, because if you cover with your hands, and then, hey, nice to meet you. Oh no, you spread the germs. We don't want that. Also, photo shoots. So I have friends who've been getting complaints so that photographers are being pain in the you-know-where. So know and research your photographers. So if you see very bad feedback for the most part for photographers, don't hire them. It's as simple as that. Go with friends if possible. So God forbid something happens. If you do hire that photographer, if something happens, at least you have friends who will keep the photography in check. If a photographer wants you to do a pose you're not comfortable with, don't do it. If a photographer doesn't allow friends to join, don't work with that photographer. Do not edit professional photos without the photographer's permission as well. So just make sure. Do not take pictures of artwork without permission as well. Okay, bullying. There's so many different kinds of bullying, and it has changed for the past 20 years. 20 years ago, it just stayed in school for the most part. Now, with social media and the internet, it just follows around with you. So the common one would be the cyberbullying. So I had two friends who got cyberbullied 2 years ago, and that wasn't fun at all. So what is bullying? It's an unjust behavior where one person or group of people deliberately intimidates, abuses, or coerces another person or group of people with the intent to hurt, harm, or distress that person physically or emotionally. And it could be a wide range of things that we talked about, whether it's physical, verbal, relational, social. So we're going to talk about gatekeeping. So that's a social type of bullying, as well as damage to the victim's property. And that's an indirect way of bullying. It's never the fault of the person on the receiving end. So if you've been bullied before, it's not your fault. You did not do anything wrong. if you're bullied because you're being different, you're kind of winning because they're jealous of you. That's number one. Number two, if you're trying to fulfill the needs of the bullies are never going to be happy. Okay, most of all, you're not going to be happy. So do what makes you happy, as long as you're safe. As long as if you're safe and everyone else around you is safe. Risk factors of being bullied. Oh my god, I gotta fix my wig. Risk factors of being bullied can vary. So it could be race, it could be appearance. So I have glasses. Usually Gyu doesn't wear glasses. I have thick ass glasses. So I would be called Four Eyes. Or if they made fun of my own eyes by themselves, and they would do all these discrimination where they make those sound like these sounds. I'm not gonna say it, but So they'll think everyone with almond-shaped eyes are Chinese, but that's not always the case. Chinese are not the only Asians, okay, but that's beside the point. Bullying in cons should never happen. Unfortunately, in reality, there is bullying, and a lot of it is pretty subtle, and you don't see it. All right, and another components is pretty overt. So there's discrimination, there's misogyny, there's homophobia, and there's racism. People judging cosplays. All right, not in the contest, but just in public. So, for example, this person bought the costume instead of making it. This person is wearing sneakers rather than flip-flops, or rather than the shoes that the character wears. The person doesn't have the correct eye color because that person doesn't have the correct eye contact color. Or body shaming. This person's too big or too skinny to do a cosplay like that. Look, man, characters are not human, although they can have human qualities, all right? Have you looked at Has-Been Hotel? I only saw just clips of it. You can basically use a Cheerio as a hula hoop, and they can fit through it. Anyway, I'm being like very hyperbole on it because look how skinny they are. Okay, so body shaming. There's also skin color. So they'll say, why are you cosplaying this person? You don't have the right skin color for it. And the other thing is, don't do blackface. Please don't do blackface. Okay. All right, that is wrong. That is unacceptable. That's racist. Don't do it. Also, cosplay is never consent. You should not be bullied just because of what you cosplay or how you cosplay. Cliques and gatekeeping. So cliques are small groups with shared interests that doesn't readily allow others to join them. So basically, cliques is a small group, and it's this exclusive group where you have to meet certain criteria in order to be in the group. And then there's gatekeeping. So those are the ones who control or limit the access to communities or fandoms or groups. So if you're not up to date with the manga of an anime, if you're not up to date with all the episodes of a certain series, all right, and you're not allowed into this club or this group, okay, that's gatekeeping. The gatekeeping is basically between the outside and the inside. So in this case, outside environment and the desired group. So if you're not a fanatic enough about a fandom, then you're not going to be in that group. So questioning one's knowledge, fandom, or interests, such as anime, movie, game, etc., or series, TV series. So, not everyone is going to catch up on everything that quickly. We all have lives here. All right, and we go at our own pace. But what matters is that people love the content, love to cosplay, or love to draw those part of a series. Bullying goes beyond cons, as we already talked about, and it's online and it keeps going and going and going. Cons should never be a place for bullying. Bullying is not allowed in any place to begin with. All right, cons should be a safe place for anyone where we can enjoy and embrace our passions and interests. I firmly believe that. Let's see what's next here. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is cancel culture, and this pissed me off because cancel culture is just it's running rampant. All right. So what is it? It's a call for or bring about collective boycotting of someone or something after a perceived wrongdoing. And in some cases, it could be career ending for some high-profile people. And I've seen that some examples include some news anchors like Matt Lauer from NBC and Charlie Rose from PBS and CBS. So those are two examples where they got canceled. And in this case, it was because they were involved with some sexual assault. If I'm not mistaken, though. There are many other examples. Okay, so another example is shunning those who say or act against someone else's beliefs and opinions. We can agree and disagree all we want, okay? Just because we disagree doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. It could, just because you disagree doesn't mean that they're bad people. You just disagree, or or just because they say certain things, and they're good-minded people and they don't commit crimes or whatnot. Can't always tell. That doesn't mean they're enemies. We can't have this kind of BS here. Using derogatory comments, posts, or messages to ruin one's reputation. All right, that happens in the cosplay community a lot of times, and this needs to stop. We've gone into the cosplay community so we can have fun, express ourselves, and take a break from reality. Now, a lot of people now are using it just so they can get in ahead when it comes to clouds, and they've forgotten how cosplay plays a very important role in our lives. Okay, so encouraging others in the shunning, blocking, and negativity and toxicity. So what they'll do is they'll start canceling, and then they'll start telling everyone to, hey, join me in canceling this person together, or a group of people, of course. The cancel culture tends to rid the person or thing on the receiving end without any kind of redemption, without any kind of trying to learn from their mistakes or whatnot. And this will cause social exclusion and alienation. And this is not the same as holding people accountable. Holding people accountable, you can call them out, but at the same time, you don't just shun them and all that. You have to have them admit their mistakes. Okay. So why is cancel culture harmful? So for those doing the canceling, so the cancelers, the ones who's dishing it out, they could impose beliefs or opinions on others and may spread misinformation or disinformation. And they're not approaching in a way that promotes healing, growth, and forgiveness, and doesn't allow for those in the receiving end to redeem themselves and to improve. Binary thinking or narrow mind. There's also this narrow-mindedness as well. There's no room for thought and reflection, and this also creates cliques, cults, and an in-group / out-group behavior. So it's just, oh, you're in this group rather than that where we are right now in this group here. So the canceled, the ones on the receiving end, some of them may be forced to use underhanded tactics to defend themselves. So they'll go all out, and then things are going to go crazy. They're going to fight fire with fire. What can you do? You got to defend yourself. It's only natural for that to happen. Those who are on that end could send hateful messages, posts, and comments in return. The pressure can lead to more bad behavior. So basically, you just motivated the ones who are being canceled to do more bad things, or at least have that urge to do it. There's no real justice served and no lessons learned. All right, it's all about cancel them, just shut them up, and be shunned, that kind of thing. So the issue with this is that even though cancel culture, it's used to call out people and to get them to hold themselves accountable, it has gone too far. So the issues include being reactive, being quick to judge or to jump to conclusions. Could be misleading. That can happen all the time, and creates a toxic culture with no way for justice to be really be served. So it also creates that culture where if you make one mistake, you're screwed. But we're all human. We make mistakes all the time. And this one does not allow, because cancel culture does not allow people to improve. Accountability. So it holds people responsible for their actions and accesses the right ways of giving justice. So what it does is it holds people responsible. All right. Unlike cancel culture, it gives people it accesses the right ways of giving justice, not vigilante actions. And so and it also helps to discuss issues in private before escalating to more drastic measures. Cancel culture, you just go all the way up, just like that. So accountability is different in that, that you make these people aware of not only the problems, but at least learn from why you shouldn't be doing it and how to improve and how to be better from it. Working together to monitor behavior, then change the way the person behaves. If that behavior persists, report to authorities. So basically, you give the person a chance to actually help improve. If the person refuses to improve or it's not getting any better, then we got an issue. So, on opinions or personal matters, you cannot cancel people simply for disagreeing or having different opinions. And it could be with politics, religion, views, philosophies, perspectives, likes, dislikes, etc. However, there are actions that need to be addressed. So, grooming, adult minor interactions online or in real life. So, anything involving money, payments, or commissions. Bullying, hate speech. Those need to be addressed. Unsafe acts. Alright, which could vary in some way. There's some words where I can't even say it. Lastly, we're going to talk about preventions or solutions to bullying. So, educate yourselves and others on bullying. Very important, all right? Recognize the signs of those who are being bullied, or who are bullying, or the ones being bullied. And encourage those who are bullied to discuss the situation. And that's never their fault. It's, no one deserves to be bullied. Talk about someone you trust or a therapist and maintain lines of communication. It's important to build positive relationships and have strong support systems, such as your friends and family and your close loved ones. Set positive examples. So be respectful, be kind, all right? It goes a long way. If you're bullied, tell them to stop, get away, and if possible, report it. Also, positive reaffirmations are very important and reassure them that everything's gonna be okay and it's not your fault, and you're valid, and also be a good friend. Hear them, the bullied, hear them out and validate their feelings. Okay, when you don't validate their feelings, they feel as if they're unheard, and things are gonna go the wrong way. If their needs are not going to be met, they could do other things where they would, on how they're going to express themselves. So, and it's going to worsen over time if you don't validate their feelings. Emphasize that bullying is wrong, and also, if possible, and this is especially important for cons. It's very important for cons to establish a safe and positive space. So it's very important how there should be the space for people where they can recharge their batteries, and where they can have this sense of safety, so they can feel comfortable. Okay, so I don't think this is new anymore, but 988 is a very important lifeline. So 988 is, you can text or call. It's a suicide and crisis lifeline. The previous number was 1-800-273-8255. It used to be all over the place. Now it's just 988, very easy. You can also, there's also a website as well. All right. It's accessible, it's comprehensive, it's for everyone. So if you have any suicidal ideation, or if you're going through a tough time, they're there. It's, as I said, it's free, it's confidential, it's 24/7, so you can call them anytime. So if you have any experiences, you can share it with me on Instagram, all right? Or you can comment. And I want to thank everyone for those tuning into the panel, or if this is already pre-recorded, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. And I am available on Instagram, okay? I usually tend to communicate there, all right? But if you want to know where you can find me, it's right over here. It's there. Oh, there, right there. On the top left, you see Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I refuse to say the letter of it. Okay, it's always going to be Twitter. There's TikTok, there's Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch right now. If not, it's on YouTube. It's Facebook, there's Discord. Okay, so I'm available there. And thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a safe day. Oh, make sure, and in the words of Dollar Runner, I hope you all stay healthy and safe as always. All right, and las palabras de Doctora María Polo, he dicho, boom, transmisión cerrada. Okay. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.